Hello, and welcome to Day by Day True Crime Stories, the podcast where we explore a different crime or justice milestone from this day in history. I'm your host, Kona Gallagher, and today is July 6th. On this day in 2012, a teenage girl named Skylar Neese quietly climbed out of her bedroom window in Star City, West Virginia. Her family, of course, didn't know it, but she would never return home again. At first, it looked like she had run away, but 6 months later, investigators would uncover a heartbreaking truth. Skylar had been murdered, not by a stranger, but by her two best friends. Today, we're revisiting the tragic story of Skylar Neese. It's a story of betrayal, loss, and the darkness that sometimes hides behind even the closest of friendships. Let's get started. Skylar Neese was just 16 years old when her life was taken from her. She was an only child and was raised by parents who adored her. She got good grades, held a part-time job at Wendy's, and had dreams of becoming a lawyer one day. She was sharp, funny, and outspoken, just someone who wasn't afraid to say what was on her mind. Like many teens, Skylar was active on social media. Her Twitter account was full of cryptic and emotional posts that, in hindsight, probably hinted at something deeper. Something that wasn't quite right in her friend group. Skylar had been close with two girls in particular, Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf. For a while, they were inseparable, but by the summer of 2012, things had changed. Skylar felt left out. She was growing increasingly frustrated with Sheila and Rachel, who had started hanging out without her. She posted tweets about feeling betrayed, about people pretending to be her friends, but no one could have imagined just how far that betrayal would go. It was just after midnight on July 6, 2012, when Skylar left her home. Security footage from her apartment complex shows her slipping out through her bedroom window and getting into a car parked outside. From there, she vanished. Her parents, Mary and Dave, realized that something was really wrong the next day when she didn't show up for her shift at work. This wasn't just normal teenage rebellion. This was not Skylar. She was responsible and she was close with her family. She would have checked in. Even so, police initially treated this as a teenage runaway situation. After all, it was clear that she had left voluntarily. But her parents knew better. Skylar hadn't taken any of her essentials. Her clothes, her phone charger, her contact lenses, they were all still in her bedroom. Soon, police questioned her two best friends, and Sheila and Rachel both admitted that they had picked Skylar up that night. But they said that they'd only driven around for a while before dropping her back off down the block. Close enough, they said, so that she could sneak back in unnoticed. And it sounded plausible, but something about their story just didn't feel right. Weeks turned into months, and Skylar's parents never stopped searching. They passed out flyers, spoke to the press, and pleaded with the community for help. All the while, Sheila Eddy kept up the appearance of being a heartbroken best friend. She posted about missing Skylar, she hugged Skylar's mother at school events, and she even helped hang those missing posters. But beneath that mask, she was hiding a horrible secret. Investigators started to pick apart the girl's timeline. Cell phone records and CCTV footage raised serious questions. And then the whispers started at school, with people saying that Rachel and Sheila knew more than they were letting on. Then, in December, Rachel cracked. After months of silence, she broke down. She confessed to her mom and then to the police. And what she said was stunning. She and Sheila had not only killed Skylar, but they had planned out her murder for weeks. And when detectives asked why, Rachel simply said, quote, "We just don't like her anymore," end quote. On the night of July 6th, they picked Skylar up under the pretense of hanging out. They drove to a secluded wooded area in Pennsylvania, and it was a spot they had been to before. Skylar thought that it was a normal night. They were going to hang out and smoke. Instead, once they got out of the car, Sheila and Rachel counted to 3 and then began stabbing Skylar with kitchen knives. Skylar fought back. She grabbed at their arms and pulled off Rachel's hoodie, but she was outnumbered. They stabbed Skylar more than 50 times, then dragged her body into the woods and tried to hide it under some branches. Rachel took investigators to the spot, which was now covered in snow. Authority used dental records to identify the victim, but it would take until March before they were able to confirm that the body did in fact belong to Skylar Neese. The discovery of Skylar's body brought both heartbreak and a grim sense of closure. Rachel was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. In exchange for her cooperation, she received a 30-year sentence with the possibility of parole. Sheila continued to deny any involvement. She acted shocked. But in May 2013, police had enough evidence to charge her with first-degree murder. And in January 2014, she finally pleaded guilty. Sheila Eddy, the same girl who had once spent holidays with Skylar's family, was sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility after 15 years. Both girls are now serving their time at Lakin Correctional Center in West Virginia. To this day, people still struggle to understand how 2 teenagers could carry out something so brutal, especially against someone they once called a friend. In the aftermath of Skylar's murder, her parents became fierce advocates for change. In 2013, West Virginia passed Skylar's Law, which expanded the Amber Alert criteria to ensure that all missing children are taken seriously from the start, even if they don't fit the traditional profile of an abduction. Skylar's story also resonated far beyond her hometown. It became a national example of how easily danger can hide in classrooms and sleepovers and in seemingly close friendships. And yet, at the heart of this story is the memory of a smart, funny, big-hearted girl who deserved so much more. Skylar Neese wasn't just a victim. She was a daughter, a student, a friend. She was a bright light in the lives of those who loved her. And her parents continued to speak out, making sure that her story and her legacy are never forgotten. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Day by Day True Crime Stories. If you found Skylar's story compelling, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It'll help us grow. And be sure to join me again tomorrow as we explore another significant event in true crime history. Until then, stay safe and remember that behind every headline is a life worth remembering. Day by Day True Crime Stories is a Little Monster production.
Hey, you can do it!